Hi, this is Dean with the Conflict Podcast. Today I've got Ash Fletcher, and the head coach of Cannock BJJ, one of the founding gyms of the Gordo BJJ Europe under Ben Popton, who's a 4th degree black belt. So yeah, I just want to welcome you here today, Ash.
Nice one, mate. Good to be here.
Yeah, so first of all, I just want to give you, the basic question. You've been doing jiu-jitsu and martial arts, most of your life from some of the things you've already told me, but, I'll let the listeners get into that. But first of all, how did you get into martial arts to begin with?
Okay, cool. So I think I was the same as most people, to be honest. Little fat kid, and my mom pushed him down to a martial arts class. I'd done kung fu for a couple of years, didn't really enjoy it. I went down the boxing gym, done a few years down there, and same again, didn't enjoy it, just hitting a bag all the time. Then I just got older, found booze like most people. I got a bit fat and lazy. And then 2010, I thought I found jiu-jitsu and MMA, and I'm going since then, mate.
Yeah, where was the first jiu-jitsu gym you went to?
It was near Simkin in Warsaw, so Simkin Martial Arts Academy as it was at the time. It's now Gracie Barra WS1.
So it's not too far.
No, mate, it's about 10 minutes up the road or something.
Is it Calbon that you joined after that? Because you went more into MMA, didn't you?
Yeah. So I left Neil's to concentrate more on the MMA.
Yeah.
So I started training under Paul Taylor, Team Calbon in Cannock, and I was there from, it was 2015 or something. 2015, yeah. So I was there until it shut in 2018.
And then is that when you took over with Cannock BJJ?
Yes, mate, yeah. We started in January 2018.
Let's talk about a little bit about your MMA, how you first got into that. Your first fight was against Jacob Brad. Yeah, what year was that?
That was 2012.
Was you still a white belt then?
I just got my blue, probably about a month before.
Had you already done a lot of jiu-jitsu tournaments at that time leading up to that?
Yeah, I'd done a few. I'd had 2 closed door MMA fights. What do they call them? Interclubs. So I had Stevie B's in Brum. I don't know if you remember that place.
No.
Or if it's still open.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just turned up, weighed in on the day, and then it was just what is now the C-class rules. So you just no head shots, standing or on the floor. I had a couple of them. They were a bit rough and ready. And then obviously 2012, I went on to the show at, what's the place called now? It's a big ice skating place in Coventry. And I can't remember what it's called now, mate. It's the arena there.
So what made you want to go from jiu-jitsu to MMA? Like, how did that start?
Well, to be honest, it's the other way around. I went to the gym to learn MMA, and then I was getting my arse kicked by all these guys who were doing jiu-jitsu, because obviously Neil taught a lot of jiu-jitsu. He's a 3-stripe brown belt at the time. And, So I was going down there, and my stand-up was pretty poor, to be honest. My ground game was just as bad, but the guys who started a similar time with me but jumped in the gi classes straight away, they overtook me. So I thought, I'm not having this, and I jumped in. I hated the gi at first. The first couple of months I absolutely fucking hated it with a passion.
I still hate the gi. I don't like the gi now.
Mate, it's mad. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Get off my collar. And all this. But yeah, after a while I got used to it and started to enjoy it. The rest is history, as they say.
I've seen you've had quite a lot of MMA fights. What MMA fight would you say stuck out the most for you out of all the fights you had?
My favourite one was my third fight against Paul Hill, who's a blue belt at our place now. So he's one of my best mates.
Is that on that Punch Up Promotions?
Yes, mate. It used to be in Bilston, just outside Wolverhampton. So anyone who don't know that. And we went to war. The first 2 rounds, he beat the shit out of me. The third round, a bit more 50-50. But that was a wake-up call for me. That was the first 2 fights. They was dead easy. I think a grappler versus a couple of lads who've only done a bit of striking. I was laughing. But when I went round a proper all-rounder guy who was training at a good gym. Yeah, it was a real eye-opener. My first one with headshots on the ground as well. Training
changed after that then?
Not straight after that one, to be honest. I had another fight when I was at Neil's. That was on Punch Up again.
Against Dan Cassell?
Against Dan Cassell, yeah.
Is he the one who runs Golden Tickets,
Golden
is it?
Ticket.
Oh, no way. Small world.
Yeah, that's it. He's signed to Bellator now as well.
No way. Bloody hell.
So...
He trained at Simpkins for a while too, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he still does. I haven't saw anything for a little while, but I know Neil's been opening a new gym, so I don't know if he's been training at which one or whatever.
Yeah.
So I still get on well with Dan. I just haven't seen him for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what it's like life.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so I lost to both of them guys, and then I realised that my wrestling wasn't up to scratch. My striking was okay because Neil's a good striker. He was karate world champion years before. I didn't think my wrestling was there, so I was okay on my feet. I was happy on the ground, but it was just that transition.
Yeah.
So that's when I made the call to go to a full MMA gym. It was a tough decision because I had a lot of friends there. I've been there for 5 years.
Yeah, yeah.
I had a lot of good friends there, and yeah, it was a tough decision. But I thought it's a bit of a selfish sport, and you only do it once, don't you? So
yeah, you're just trying to get the best out of you. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, that's it, mate.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. So what year? So how did you take over Calbon? Like, how did it go from Calbon to Cannock BJJ?
Right, and so the end of 2017, the gym got a bit quieter. So a lot of the guys who were fighting, I think I was the last person to fight under the Calbon banner. But I think for my fight camp, there was only 2 or 3 people who were turning up regular.
Yeah.
A lot of the lads who were fighting had dropped off. And my gi classes that I was teaching there, so I was teaching there for 4 years or 3 years or whatever it was before Paul handed over to me. My gi classes was booming, but the MMA sessions were not so much. I think it was just the way that things were going. People were
more into
not everyone's made to be wrestle fucked, are they, for an hour and 15 minutes? And I used to love it when I was fighting, but nowadays I haven't got it in me. But yeah, if you haven't got a purpose for it, I think it's quite a hard thing to do, isn't it? MMA and wrestling.
Yeah, that's on the previous episode when I was talking to a wrestling coach. Me and him were talking about, like, you can have an easy jiu-jitsu class, you can have an easy, boxing class or this, but you can't have an easy wrestling class. And MMA is so wrestling orientated now because wrestling controls the fights.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
I think that's all it is. But I do think that MMA is still super popular because obviously, UFC and all that, and there's a lot of, it's the mainstream sport right now.
Yeah, but, definitely.
But it's kind of jiu-jitsu is holding up its own weight against MMA now. I think that's what it is. I think a lot of people who do MMA like yourself eventually just went over into jiu-jitsu. That's a good way you said it. Like, there's no if you don't have a purpose for MMA, you kind of just drift off into jiu-jitsu.
That's it. And to be honest, mate, for me personally, my body now, it's, well, as you know, because we talk. The last 6 weeks, I've had 2 surgeries. I'm just recovering from my latest one now.
Yeah.
So it's just ruined my body. All the fights and all the competitions over the years and everything.
Yeah. What surgery did you have?
I had knee surgery 6 or 7 weeks ago. That was just like a routine arthroscopy.
Yeah.
Then my hip. Then I had my worst hip done first. I've got my other one done next. But they went in there. They shaved the cams off. They repaired a tear, and they created a load of microfractures. So they basically broke my hip to a degree. Obviously, micro breaks, but. Yeah, I'm not a doctor, so I don't 100% understand. Whatever they did, mate, it fucking hurt. I've been drugged off my tits ever since.
So after this, you won't be doing heel hooks or any leg locks?
Well, I don't know about that. I'm not very good at them anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, they're the funnest part of jiu-jitsu anyway, so...
They are, mate. Well, it's like when you come down to our gym, I felt alright, tit that night. You just come back from training with Lachlan Giles and all them guys, and I'm teaching heel hook entries, and I was like, oh, fuck, they can show me more than the other way around. Yeah. Oh, okay. It was good fun.
Yeah, so, how did you, you obviously took over, Cannock BJJ, made it Cannock BJJ. How did it...
Sorry, mate, I went off subject, didn't I?
No, that's okay. How did you get affiliated with Gordo Europe? Like Gordo BJJ Europe. How did you get affiliated with that?
So obviously I started the gym. I was under Ben and a guy called Dave Briggs. Once I left Neil's, I moved obviously into MMA, but then I got invited down into doing a bit of BJJ in a garage. It's a black belt locally, and I just went down, had some spars and stuff. And he introduced me to Ben. So as stuff started progressing, trained under a guy called Dave Briggs and Ben Poppleton, who was at the time a 3rd degree black belt. He's the first, and I don't know how many more there has been since, but it's definitely the first Englishman to receive his black belt from a Gracie. So directly from a Gracie. So obviously I'd met this guy. I was like, fucking hell, like, who is this guy? So I met him, stayed on with them ever since blue belt to as I am now. And then it was a brown belt. I think I'd not long got my brown belt, and Ben messaged me and said, look, this is happening, starting up this organisation under my head instructor. Do you and the gym want to be in? I was like, yeah, damn right. So that's pretty much how it went, mate. It was just a text message off a whim, and then this organisation started. Obviously, there's a lot more to it than that, but I wasn't involved in that side of it. But yeah, it was nice. It's just nice to be asked. Just some little guy in Cannock, and there's some real good names in there, so it's just nice to be alongside him.
Do you want to tell me a brief history about Ben Poppleton? So just so that people know, you're not just, you're affiliated with him. He comes down every so often and does seminars and stuff at your gym. Do you want to tell us a bit about Ben? Yes.
So Ben's a nice guy. If ever you trained with him or get the chance to train with him, you got to. He's hilarious. He's not PC by any means. So if you're easily offended, I wouldn't go. But he's a funny guy and he's a nice, honest guy. So his history is, I think he went over to Rio in, I don't know, I think it was like 2000 or something. And I don't know the exact dates. So he went over to Rio. He spent 5 or 6 years over there. He got his black belt. He's got his black belt in England from Legato, but he was sent over by Carlos Gracie Jr. So ever since then, he's been doing tours of seminars around the country, and he lives in Tenerife most of the year, Ben does. So obviously, the more I got to know him, the more we become friends and everything. He comes to Cannock probably, I think, 4 or 5 times a year now.
Oh, so quite regular then.
Yeah, and we just started looking at doing camps as well. In January, we had a 4-day camp where he come down. They done 3 sessions in the day, I think it was, on specifically on butterfly guard. So we're looking at putting another couple of them on. So they're great for all grades. We had, I think there's 3 or 4 black belts on the mats. Yeah, it was good crack. Ben's just a normal, honest guy, and he's just worked hard to get where he is.
Yeah, is he more gi or no gi?
I'd say more gi, but he can more than hold his own no gi, if you know what I mean. He's a really interesting guy. He's done a few podcasts himself. I don't know if you want me to mention them or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done a couple on Bro Away the Gi, and he's done one with Dan Strauss. I think it's the Raspberry 8 podcast.
Yeah, that's a good podcast.
He goes through his history and stuff on them. Obviously, that's from the horse's mouth, but yeah, they're well worth a listen if you're interested in finding out about one of England's and Britain's jiu-jitsu pioneers, I guess.
Then how it all started for him in like his history.
Yeah, definitely.
But if they want to come and train with you or Ben, they've just got to come down to Cannock BJJ. Or go onto the page and find out when the next seminars will be.
Yeah. Anyone's welcome. We don't care what gear you're wearing, what belt you are, anything like that. As long as you turn up in a clean gi and a smile, and we don't care. That's one thing
I want to talk to you about as well. Nowadays, there's becoming less and less people who are like that everyone's becoming very segregated. But I want to talk to more of the people who are more open to sharing everything amongst everyone, and what is it, why do you want that in your gym? Why do you want it to be open to everyone and everyone welcome? What makes you want that?
Right, and so Christmas time I had black belts come down to the gym, and it was nice to just share knowledge with us. Same, it doesn't mean they don't have to be a black belt to be able to pass on some knowledge. Obviously a black belt just shows how long they've been doing it, but
yeah,
I want my guys to go to other people, learn new things they can bring it back to the gym. I want people to come to our place, like your training partner, Will Jones. I mean, I fought with Will years ago. That's how we met. I
was there at that fight. I watched that fight.
Oh, was you?
Yeah, I helped. I was helping Will train for that fight.
Was you?
Yeah.
Well, he beat the shit out of me. Bless him.
Will knew you guys, because at the time Cal Balm were known for leg locks and stuff like that. And Will just said to me, he goes, "Oh, can you help me with some leg lock stuff?" So basically, I was just trying to I was leg locking Will a lot at the time. So
yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's a small world. Like I said, me and Will are good mates from that now. He visits the gym quite often. I know he's doing a lot of his MMA training at Renegade now, so he hasn't been down as much. But I was literally talking to him this morning on Messenger. So
yeah, he's got a heart of gold, that lad has.
Yeah, he's a real good lad. He's a real good lad.
Anytime I'm on the mat with him, I'm always asking him about his guillotines and stuff like that, because he's so good at those guillotines, man.
Yeah, he's nasty with it. He's a great role. Anyone who wants to compete and stuff, he's a great rolling partner, because he goes hard, but he doesn't go like a dick.
Yeah,
he's controlled with it.
Yeah,
you're never gonna have a roll or a round or a spar, whatever you want to call it, where you're not going to be sweating like hell and panting. It won't hurt you.
I think that's another thing as well, like we were just saying then. Look at everything we've just spoke about how everything kind of interconnects, in the world of jiu-jitsu, martial arts. It is so small, like it is so small.
It is, definitely.
Yeah, and like no matter where you go in the world, everyone kind of knows someone. Even when I went to Australia, like I even met a few people there who knew some of my friends back home. Like there was a lad over in Australia named Connor, who was the head wrestling coach at Absolute, and he knew Rand, and he knew he knew one of my friends, Nathaniel.
Natty Brown.
Yeah.
Natty's a good guy.
Natty's a beast, mate. He's so good.
He is.
But my wrestling coach in Australia knew Natty from back home in Warvo, and it's like, what the hell? Like, do you know what I mean?
Natty went over to Australia, didn't he, 2 years ago with the Commonwealth team?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, Natty. I don't think he was competing, but I think, I don't want to say something to make it sound less than it is.
Yeah.
He was picked on the squad, I believe, to go over.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like the replacement or I'm not quite sure. Like I said, I don't want to go into it too much because I don't fully know and I don't want to undersell him.
Yeah. I've trained with Natty. Like, you can't undersell Natty. He is so good. He's so good.
A beast.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I've never took him down ever. I mean, I'm not that good of a wrestler anyway, but I've never seen anyone else take him down either too.
No, I just used to have to pray that when he did take me down, we ended up in guard. That's all.
Yeah.
And then 9 times out of 10, he'd still smash me.
Yeah, Yeah, that's good. But that's what I mean. The world is so small. Like everything we just said, then like look how small the world is, and I think that's one thing that's good about your gym is you don't have these politics. You allow anyone, any race, any whatever gear you're wearing, 100%. Anything, just come and train and share, because the world is getting too small a place, especially amongst martial arts, to have these politics. So I think It's nice that you have your doors open to anyone and everyone.
Well, we have a few guys come down. They train, I wouldn't say regular, but they come down every so often from different academies, and like they always come down, but they just don't like to get in the picture. To say, look, we don't want to join you. Like, we want to stay where we are, but we don't want to we don't want to get any issues. So obviously, Sam, it's not an issue. You don't have to be in a picture. There's nothing. Like, they come down, they do their class, they join in, happy, respectful, like everyone else, and then they go. And that's all we ask, as people come down, just have fun and just be sound. Don't have to get into pictures or anything like that, because we get it. Some places don't like it if you cross-train, do they? So,
yeah.
But that's each to their own. Some people say it's wrong. That's their opinion. But I just do what's right for me personally. I'm not the kind of person who wants to tell someone what to do.
I respect that. Another thing as well is you've got a lot of really good guys there. Like, I've been down and rolled at your place a couple of times. One guy, he has a very similar style to me. A guy named Harry. H. Mate, I love darcies and neckties, and Harry darsed and necktied the hell out of me, and I was like, what the hell? Do you know what I mean? Because that's my favourite move, but he was blasting it on me. That guy was so good, so good.
Harry should have been in the UFC, to be honest. He's that good. As an amateur, he was blasting through. As a pro, he was blasting through. And then I think his business took off and whatever, and but he was good enough, in my opinion, to get to the UFC.
Yeah, he just went down a different route.
Yeah, definitely. He still trains regular. He went down a different route, probably rightly so, because look at everyone's bodies. We're all fucked from it, aren't we?
Yeah, we've got a lot of injuries. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about some more about your coaches. You've got Brett. Yourself. Another guy called Paul
Taylor. So he was in the UFC. Paul was. He at the time. I think he might still have it, but he had the most fight of the night records for English fighters. He might not have it no more, I'm not sure, but I know he did. He's Paul Relentless Taylor. He's absolute beast. Still is actually when you see him sparring, as you found out probably.
Yeah, I have
But
had a good few rolls with Paul. Like he's an
yeah,
animal.
say exactly the same as what we talked about. Will, like, you're not gonna have an easy roll, but he won't hurt you, type thing.
So who runs the main MMA classes?
Right then, so the MMA sessions generally Brett Reeve. So you got Brett Reeve, Harry Marple, Paul Taylor. They're the three who really run the MMA. I don't have a lot to do with it because that's my night off with the kids. That is, I pop down when I can and train, but obviously I'm going to be out of that for a while. Like I said, with the surgery. Yeah, them boys do it. They don't do it as a class so much. They just invite other people to come down and train really. So yeah, 3 boys do that. Brett's kind of took a step back at the moment because he's busted his shoulder, but he's still in every session. Them 3 have been doing the nogi as well recently because obviously I haven't been able to do it. Them boys have got just as much knowledge. Brett's been doing it longer than I have, to be honest. Yeah, they're all really good coaches.
Yeah, I've rolled with Brett. Brett's really good too. So what's the goal with, like, you're the one who runs all the jiu-jitsu, but I think a lot of people, when they just see Cannock BJJ, you know, they just think it's a jiu-jitsu gym, but obviously it's not. You know, you've got a wealth of talent of MMA guys. What do you want people to know about the MMA side of your gym?
To be honest, like I say, the MMA side shrunk down a lot. As you just said, there's a lot of talent at the gym. Even some of our gi guys who don't do the MMA sessions anymore. We've got ex-fighters and just really good, solid lads as well. I'd love to see the MMA grow again. I would. I'd absolutely love it. It's great if people want to come down. I would say it's people who have got some kind of knowledge. They're best to have some basic knowledge of the sport or have trained before. But it's great to come down and mix it up with the guys who do cage wrestling, MMA rounds.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're saying it's a very deep end type class.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we have a lot of people message about it, and I've made the mistake saying, "Yeah, come down. It's anyone can kind of do it." But yeah, I think I went into one of the sessions and I've just retracted that. Then I thought it's better to keep it to people who have got some experience. Someone coming down to the gym and being scared of martial arts for life just because of that either. So that if they're a place where they don't want to train so hard, they can find that place. Or you get some people just want to get stuck in, don't you? They can crack on. But
so, what would you say to a new person coming to your gym? What would you recommend them to do?
I recommend them to always. I say to them, they've got a beginners class on a Wednesday. The only difference between the beginners class and the other gi classes are there's no rolling at the end of it or sparring. Whether you're new school or off school, but yeah, there's no sparring at the end of it. It's just technique. Usually in that one, there's a couple of my blue belts in. Occasionally, there's a purple in. So we've got people who help out. I recommend that. Or the Saturday morning is the other one because it's a little bit quieter, so I get to spend a bit more time with newer people. Yeah, and some of our more experienced lads come in and help out a little bit as well, which is nice.
What's your plans for the future of Cannock BJJ?
As I think every gym in the world at the minute, because of this bleeding coronavirus, just hoping we tick through at the moment. But moving forward after this, I've already, why I've got this time off, I've started to sort out a kids curriculum. We do have kids in our classes at the moment. To be honest, a lot of them kids are just our members' kids, so they come in and train on. We set 2 days a week when they can come in. But I want to set up a proper kids program. There's a guy up north I'm going to see. He's got a very successful gym full of kids. He's part of the Gordo network now, so he's invited me up to do a seminar at his place, and he's going to show me the way he does it with his kids, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the blueprint for it.
That's it. I just want to make Cannock's a small town. It's a mining town, and the surrounding areas are mining towns. People turn their nose up when you say our price, which is £45 a month. Obviously, that's 7 days all inclusive.
That's really good. That's really good.
That's it. I think because a lot of people, they're used to seeing these pure gym prices $18.99 a month, and they walk in and they hear 45 and they think, bloody hell. But I think if they look at some of the gyms in the cities and they say they cost £90, £100, etc., yeah, I don't think they'd mind.
Yeah, but you're paying for the knowledge. You're not paying for like weights to work out with. You know, you pick up the weights and you put them down. But this isn't weightlifting, is it? You can't self-teach yourself jiu-jitsu really, you know, from scratch, so to say.
Yeah, definitely. And to be honest, mate, the money side of it doesn't worry me too much. As long as the lights stay on, I'm not worried because I don't take a wage out the gym. I work full time, so
yeah,
the gym is purely, it's like my therapy. That's all the gym is. So I don't worry too much about that, and that's why with the kids thing moving forward, I want to make a curriculum which is affordable because of the town we're in. It's not a high-end affluent town. We're not hardly ghetto, working class town, but
You want the working class citizen to just be part of your gym.
yeah, that's it. Just want them to be able to come down, afford it, and enjoy it. I don't want anyone to be able to, they can't come because they can't afford this, can't afford that, blah blah blah. I want to try and get rid of all that possible. If people want to do it, then at least they've got the option because it's affordable.
I can feel that from, you were saying like you have some of your kids in like your adults classes.
Yeah.
That's, you want, that sounds a very like family orientated class. Do you think you'll still continue that on? Do you think you'll still continue like a dad and son or, mom and daughter type class?
Wednesday night we'll always let the kids in because I think it is actually. I think every child who comes on a Wednesday night, maybe bar one, they always come with their parents. All of them are generally the higher grade lads. They've been at the gym for 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 years since it was carbon and stuff. Now they're blue belts or purple belts. And can we bring our lads down or our girls? Yeah, crack on. So they bring them down and they're learning too. So I've just got to a point now where I'm starting to learn best way to split the class. So we've got kids one end and adults the other. But it took a little while and it was stressful at first. So that's why I want to start a kids curriculum where we'll have kids classes on, but we'll still allow the lads to bring their kids. But we'll just say, look, this is an adults class. You can train with them or unless it's a couple of the more knowledgeable kids and they go off. So I kind of let the lads decide what they want to do as well. To a degree, we've got a message group and we always speak and I'll put ideas out and see what they want to do as well. Because it's all of our gyms, not just mine.
Yeah,
so,
everyone's sharing the same type of information and knowledge.
Yeah, that's it. And we got that many different polls up on our Facebook Messenger group, just what's everyone want to do. And then we just literally do it highest percentage wins of and then do it that way. I think it's the fairest way to do it.
Yeah. Now
no one likes to be dictated to, do they?
Yeah. Now, you've been on Grapple Fest and is it Hajime? Let's talk a little bit about that. Have they all been like sub-only no-gi matches?
So, Grapple Fest, Battle Grapple, Hajime were all no-gi. And sub-15 and the super fights I've had at comps, they were gi. Been on Grapple Fest 3 times. Battle Grapple, the black belt on Battle Grapple, he was good. I thought my mate Kev Owen from ASW Liverpool, he's the owner of that now on Hajime.
Yeah, I think I've been down to that gym before for a seminar.
Yeah, so they're good. It used to be owned by Chris Thompson in ASW Nemesis it was called, but it's actually moved now. Yeah, they're all good lads up there, great lads. The other guy actually who runs it with Kev runs the Grappling Life podcast.
Oh, right, no way.
Don't know if you know that one. He's an ex-military guy.
Yeah.
Well, I think he might still be in the military, actually. I can't think. But, yeah.
So he's a tough guy, then?
Oh, he's nails. Well, this shows what kind of a guy he was. I went up to Ben's seminar, and it was in a gi. And I knew of him, but I hadn't met him before. And I went up to shake his hand, and he put his other hand out, and I noticed that he had an MMA glove on. And I didn't really want to ask, and then one of the lads told me after that he'd had his fingers shot off in Afghan or Iraq or wherever it was not so long before, so he was there training in an MMA glove to protect his hand.
Jesus Christ.
So, yeah, to say he's a tough guy, it's
an understatement.
Yeah, and I tell you what, mate, I rolled with him when, I say, he'd had his hand shot, and it's one of the toughest rolls I've had. He wasn't messing around.
Yeah, well, to do military full-time and jiu-jitsu too, yeah, it's got to be pretty tough.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. Really nice guy. They all are up there, they're all good guys, but tough as nails.
So so back to the super fights, how did they get about, like, how did you go from, right, so you're done with MMA, you're done with MMA and you're like, right, you're looking for something else, like, how did you go into the super fights?
To be honest, it all just kind of fit into place. So it all started off with the sub-15. I just got my purple belt about 2 weeks prior, and I noticed one come up, we need someone to fight purple belt. I was like, yeah, I'll do it, Sam. So I drove up to Leeds, way it was, and I thought a guy called Grant Shaw got his brown belt not long after, and I think he'd medalled at the Euros or one of the big comps. I had that match, and I think that lasted for about 9 minutes or something. Then he caught me with an armbar. it was just a good buzz. I just thought, oh, it's good fun, that is. And then I got asked to do one at Role Models. I don't know if you've been to that comp.
Yeah, I've competed at Role Models. Really
So,
well ran competition. I
yeah,
was meant to vendor, the conflict clothing at the event, but my supplier and the sizing and stuff at the time, like they messed up some of my sizing on some of my things, so I didn't have the stock at the time. But I'll definitely be, especially after all this virus stuff passes, I'll definitely be down at the next one vending, hopefully.
definitely. They're great lads. They're really great. They always look after you. We've always had good experiences on that comp. From myself doing a super fight on there to the other lads competing, winning and losing and whatever else. But yeah, they've always really looked after us. A great comp. Couldn't recommend it enough.
And then what was the other one? Jimmy, Hajimi, how'd you say it?
Jimmy, I think. I never kind of. It was up Grimsby where it was. So they had quite a thick accent. So I couldn't understand what they were saying anyway. If it was Hajimi or so, their accents are very different to mine.
Yeah.
So that one, I got approached by that one. I think I can't remember. It wasn't long before I got my brown belt, so that was about 2 years ago. So I think actually they put a post on it. Someone tagged me in it, then they messaged me to see if I wanted to do it, and I was like, yeah, sound. And it turns out it was against Kev, who I say he was top lad. Kev was really good guy, great grappler and nice guy as well.
Yeah, it sounds like you will fight anyone anywhere by the sounds of it, before all this surgery stuff. It sounds like you're pretty game for most competitions.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not going to lie and try and big myself up. As a competitive guy, I'm not great. Most of my super fights I've lost.
Yeah.
Or had a draw, but I've always tried to get the toughest opponents and just get out there
and show your jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, try to win, lose or draw. Probably is my downfall, but I don't really care, to be honest. As long as I can get out there and have a bit of a scrap with someone and shake hands and have a good laugh after, then I'm happy enough. I wasn't like that in MMA. MMA, I took it a lot more serious with the grappling. Yeah, I don't take it serious enough for this super fights as some of the guys do.
Do you think that's more to do with your injuries?
Yeah, and mindset, I think, mate. I think you already know, but I've got a poorly daughter who I look after a lot. So my mind isn't there to compete all the time because she's more time consuming, and I would never change it, but I just haven't got the time to train like a competitor. So
what would you want the people to know about Cannock BJJ? Like you've got the jiu-jitsu, you've got the MMA. What else do you do at your gym?
Obviously we do no-gi or submission grappling, whatever you want to call it. We used to have circuit classes and Thai pad sessions, but they went off a little bit. But I'm thinking about reintroducing them later in the year.
Yeah.
So I might do a few like pad sessions, just fitness. I tried to speak to sort out a local emergency workers class. So any paramedics, police, all that kind of stuff can come down, and I was just going to do a free session once a week or once a fortnight, just to give them a little bit of basics.
Well, you can advertise it here right now. Do you know what I mean? People listening to this, they can come down if they work for the NHS fire service or the police. They can come down once a week and try learning some jiu-jitsu and for self-defense purposes.
Yeah, definitely. I want to try and set it up. I want to try and set it up so it's all complete. I say complete novices. Novices are people who haven't really done much. So if, like say, a nurse in A&E and someone tries to get their hand on her, because we know it happens, it's just hopefully that she can keep him away enough to at least get away from the situation or hold him there till someone else comes. Same with the police. Like, might be a selfish way of looking at it, but I've got kids, and there's kids who I know around the area, and I don't think policeman doesn't know how to look after people properly. It's not me saying the police don't. I'm just talking hypothetically. I'd rather help, if I can help even one person who could potentially help my kids or a friend's kids or whatever, then yeah, it seems worthwhile to me.
That sounds good. Also, what about, the competition team? You said you're going to start, when all this corona's ended, you want to start a competition team for Cannock BJJ.
When I first took over the gym, and there's like a transition period from the MMA side to jiu-jitsu, there was some people left, some people stayed on just to do jiu-jitsu because obviously they had mates there, etc. So I started a competition class. It was on a Sunday morning, but it was brutal. Question again, if that's all right.
So when all this corona stuff blows over, you said you have plans for a competition team for Cannock BJJ. How do you plan on getting that started?
Yeah, we used to run one when I first took over the gym. Only lasted a little while because it was quite a tough session and people didn't want to do it. As people have progressed and we've got longer standing members and stuff, higher belts, etc., etc., we've got guys who are competing. But in my opinion, some of our guys, some of them go out and smash it just because they're brutes. They know what they're doing, but they're just mentally tough guys anyway. They've got ex-military, and some of the guys, they haven't got that mental side of it. So I want to put sessions on so they can get beasted a little bit, and they want to be put in the shit areas. So when they're in that place in the competition, they can chill and try and get out of it. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Nothing too crazy in the shit train, as I like to call it.
And what else do you want the people of the Conflict Podcast to know about Cannock BJJ? Is there any other word you want them to know?
The main thing is, like I say to everyone, anyone's welcome. We've got a policy which is no dickheads, other than the ones we've already got.
Yeah.
Anyone's welcome, any grade, any background, any alliance or team or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, we're part of a team, very open door. Ben kind of wants us to be that way as well. He thinks it's the way it should be, cross training. So never worry about coming to the gym and try and get poached, because we'll never try and poach anyone. All we want to do is get people there to roll and have some fun. And that's that, really.
Now, if anyone wants to find any more information about Cannock BJJ or where to contact you, Ash, where do they find you?
So we've got on Facebook, we've got Cannock BJJ. We've got an Instagram, which is Cannock_BJJ. And then I've got my own personal Instagram, which is Ash_Cannock_BJJ.
Well, thanks for being on the podcast, Ash, and hopefully I'll see you when this all blows over.
Yeah, hopefully, mate. More than welcome to come down, you know that. It'd be great to have you down again.
Yeah, great. All right, thank you, man.
So, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me. Catch you
right.
soon, mate.
You too, man.